I know when you see a picture of brother in a small picture like me, and then you see, dude on the side, it's real. This is about Beast of Reincarnation. It comes out in a few days. I'm excited for it. For those of y'all who don't know, it's Game Freak's first game that's not Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? It looks a little. I guess everything looks Sekiro-ish, but it might be like it feels like a mix of Sekiro and Monster Hunter. Is what it feels like. People are gonna be kind of looking at it like. But let's just get into this and see what's up with Buddy. This is from GameStop.
I just played 90 minutes of Beast of Reincarnation, and I walked away incredibly impressed.
Okay, that's good. Hold on now. Aside from that sexy ass assassination, he played 90 minutes and he said he was impressed. That's a good start. That's a good start, Jake. Good shit, Jake. I seen the parry in the RV. So by the way, we're marketing this with Microsoft.
Okay, so first off, what exactly did I see? Well, when I walked in, they let me play the first 90 minutes of this game from the start. That means I got to see how the game opens, the first area that you get to explore, and then I got to see the first fight and some background cutscenes. One thing I'll say first is that I don't fully understand what's.
I just want to say, and I'm not gonna keep, but I just want to say that I'm here for the wave of having a main character protagonist and having a woman or a man's best friend on the side that's like a wolf of some kind. This is the second one we've seen in a year, because I seen it in Ghost of Yote. You know what I mean? We had the wolf, and now in Beast of Reincarnation, I forgot what the name of the dog is / wolf, but they do tell us.
With
and
the
I'm
story.
here for this trend.
My best grasp is that Emma and Ku are a certain type of being that can take down these infected creatures
like, if you haven't played Scarlet Nexus,
store them in herself, or something like that. It seems like her position in this world is basically to quell it of these malefacts or these evil blighted creatures. The way gameplay essentially plays out is it's a lot like Sekiro, but I would say there's a lot more room for experimentation.
Okay.
For some context, I love Sekiro. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I've played it, countless times, and this felt right at home to me. I will say it's definitely a little easier. I would say that the parry window is a little longer, so you don't need to be as precise, at least from what I can remember. And also, there's way more wiggle room. I think with Sekiro, you're kind of forced into playing a specific style, and I think that's one of that game's strengths. With this, there's more tactical options to you. A big one would be Ku. Ku is the dog you've seen in trailers and gameplay, and essentially he is your companion. He is the only gameplay companion that Emma gets throughout the game, so it's not like Pokemon, which is a weird comparison. It's nothing like Pokemon, but it's hard to get away from because it's developed by Game Freak. But you are not collecting creatures, you're not capturing creatures, but Ku is by your side the entire time, and he has his own skill tree and can level up alongside Emma as you play. The thing about Ku, though, is that when you input a command for Ku, you press Y or triangle, depending on the controller you're playing on, time stops, or at least it slows down, and then you get to pick a move that you want to do. As you level up Ku and as you expand the skill tree, you'll unlock new moves and you can upgrade the ones.
Not for nothing, it's almost like they really mix like Sekiro. It really does feel like Scarlet Nexus, but with photorealistic joint, but then also with a companion. So it's Game Freak. So they give you a human, they give you not a Pokemon. In this case, it's Ku, who's like a big ass wolf, but like, you know what I'm saying? That feels right for Game Freak. The whole slowing down time and then picking a thing then almost makes it feel a little bit turn-based too. I don't know why that reminds me of turn-based, but again, Game Freak specialty. But I feel like people aren't talking about this game enough, because when we first got it announced, it sounded dope. This is one of those that may go under the radar a little bit, maybe because of when it's dropping, it won't. But like that kind of was like almost like when Sifu first came out, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if y'all like Sifu, you know, your boy, that's where a lot of people came to the channel. But let's get it going.
You have. However, the interesting thing where, once again, I'm invoking Pokemon again, which I'm sorry, I'm gonna try not to do it too many times.
It's gonna happen.
Hard not to make those comparisons. But these moves have different affinities. Certain enemies are weak to these different affinities, we'll say. So there's like a shield enemy, and if you use one of Ku's abilities, it had like a knockback effect, and it would destroy the shield, and then you could go in for a finishing blow.
I'm just saying. They ain't getting away from the Pokemon allegations. But if this shit is fire, which it looks like it might be, they can at least make a great case people will be.
And as you upgrade Ku, like I said, you'll get more abilities, but also there's passive abilities that come along with it as well. One passive ability you can unlock, for example, basically lets Ku mop up all the enemies that you've weakened. But there is a giant skill tree. It seems like there's a lot of customization that you can invest not only in Emma, but also in Ku. And I'm super curious to see how that plays out the further along I get. Like I said, I started at the very beginning, so I didn't really get to experience what these different Emma and Ku builds are like, but I did kind of get a taste with them. So with Emma, obviously you're going to be using your sword a lot. However, there's also a range of projectile weapons. Pretty early on, you find a bow which you can use, and then you start with like a little crossbow gun. I think I didn't get a good look at what it was, but it seems like there's multiple options there. Something that's important to point out too is that when I started this demo, they told.
But that's also dope. That like if there's gonna be other weapons to use, mainly it looks like there's gonna be ranged weapons and your sword. Maybe they'll give us another melee weapon, but now it's starting to give me, you know, Rise of the Ronin feel, a little bit of Ghost feel. I don't. This game
told me that this game is hard. I made a lot of comparisons to Sekiro here.
Pretty good games.
Definitely not as hard as Sekiro, but I think if you're not familiar with these types of games, you might have a little bit of trouble, at least at the beginning, before you start unlocking different things. But there is a more traditional level up system than in Sekiro, more similar to, I would say, a Souls game, where after you level up, you can go to a campfire and then you can upgrade one of 3 stats. I believe they're vitality, strength, and like a third one. I don't remember what it's called. We've got gameplay. It'll show up here. But they basically do what you'd expect. Vitality increases your health, strength increases your damage, and those are permanent. As far as I could tell, when you die, you don't lose progress to the next level. You don't lose your experience or anything like that. So some of the tougher aspects of Sekiro or a Souls game are not present here, which makes sense. This is not intended to be a hard experience, but like I said, you may run into some trouble early on. According to the staff there, though, I was the only one who one-shotted this boss right here.
Well, that's a big-ass boss. It's like a big-ass ox deer thing. It's a big-ass moose. He look like he got a lot of fluorescence. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay. Now,
when it comes to just standard combat with enemies have a health bar, and they also have a stamina meter or a poise meter. And once that entirely fills up, you can do a finishing move. Like I said, if you hit a weaker enemy with a weakness, you automatically trigger that finishing move. And one thing that's kind of cool is that there is range to this finishing move. So, for example, for these shielded enemies, I would use one of Ku's ability in order to break the shield, which would then stagger them. And then because there was range, I could swoop in and kill them instantly. It felt really good, and that's something I can say in general. Just the game feels really good. I'm very hesitant to play games that play like Sekiro because not many games feel as good as Sekiro, if I'm putting it bluntly. This feels pretty dang close.
You know, I feel like I said, Rise of the Ronin felt quite good.
One of the cooler aspects in Beast of Reincarnation, though, is that it seems like there's a lot more movement abilities than something you might see in similar games. Emma's hair, which are like these roots that kind of come out of her, can be used in order to jump high. So one thing I was able to do is I'd see an enemy that didn't see me, I'd jump up high, and then I was able to get like an instant finishing blow because of my height, which was super cool. I was doing that a bunch, but also you can use this hair to cross gaps. So you can hold down right trigger, I believe, and the hair extends, and you can walk across it, and you can jump over gaps, but also you can upgrade it too. And I upgraded so that at the end of her hair, a like blossom shows up, and then you can like attach to that blossom and get some forward momentum.
What in the Spider-Man is going on? That's another one. So now we throwing Spider-Man in this piece? I didn't know that. I know earlier on we had seen some of what they just showed with her, with the traversing. I didn't know it came from her hair, but I do know all of it does play into the story, obviously. But we don't know exactly what's going on in the story yet, but we'll see. But that's pretty dope. It makes it so you can kind of give yourself different angles, different approaches on enemies. Okay, Game Freak. I'm not surprised. I'll put it like this. I'm not going to be surprised that Game Freak puts together a game that at the very least feels good and is pretty complete. And I'm just not surprised they put together a good game. They've been in this business for very long. Yes, they've been making Pokemon games, but let's be honest, Pokemon games are still at least to me, still very fun. Still play them, still beat all of them.
For the most part, which I know is something that people are worried about. I played on
Pokemon,
PC. They didn't tell me the specs of the PC, but it ran really well. They said it was running uncapped. I didn't notice any stutters or anything like that. Obviously, it'll depend on your hardware, what you're running. I didn't get to see it on console, so I don't know how it runs there. So in terms of how this game is structured, though, it is not an open world. They called it like an open area, open zone style gameplay, where throughout the story you will get to these different areas. There will be like a key path that is pretty much straight ahead, at least based on the area I played. But then it kind of expands outwards, and you're able to explore different areas of the map. You're able to find secrets. I found a side boss that had a little skull over its head. So I assumed I wasn't supposed to fight it yet. I did anyway, and I died a couple times, and then I got a little stronger and came back, and I kicked his ass.
Did you get anything for it, though?
Once I beat him, there was a chest there that I looted, and there was some currency and some other items that I guess helped me level up, but I wasn't entirely sure. I didn't quite get a full understanding of how these different items work in the world. Now, in terms of story, I don't really want to jump into spoilers, so I'm going to keep this somewhat vague if you're curious about the story. However, that's pretty easy for me to do because I didn't fully understand what was happening. So it does take place in the future. It takes place in Japan. Everything is overgrown. And basically, I believe they said you're trying to get from Tokyo to Kyoto or Osaka to Kyoto. Obviously, it doesn't look anything like that. So you're traveling through these open zones with the help of your cleanse walker, I think is what it's called. And it's basically this base of operations that you will return to throughout the story. It's a van. You hop in the van, and if I had to guess, you can pick which portions of the map you want to go to. Now, even though I didn't quite understand what was going on in the story, that doesn't mean I'm not intrigued. So basically, the timeline of what I saw is that the game starts what I think is the climax of the game. You and Ku are chasing down a giant creature thing that I think you're supposed to kill. And right before you fight this thing, this sworded figure shows up, and then it cuts back to like a couple months ago. I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago. And then that's the start of the road trip. I fought that boss I was talking about earlier, and then I got a flashback to when Emma and Ku meet. There are a lot of specifics and jargon in this world that left me a little confused, but the core of the story is between Emma and Ku. And
I better not have had to fight Ku and beat him just to catch him. Nah, I'm dead ass. Like, Ku ain't no Pokemon. I just leave him as like, because I don't like the way the scene is looking. It's looking real crazy.
And I think it's going to tug at the heartstrings. Can't say for certain. Haven't finished it, obviously. But the music, the visuals, the way Ku and Emma meet at the beginning kind of got me. It didn't quite get me yet, but I think it is building to something that will very much hit hard. At least I hope.
He's hurt. He looks a little bit weak. Oh, Ku's the one who gave it.
And that was my experience with Beast of Reincarnation. As you can tell, I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to play more. I think Game Freak has something special in their hands, but we'll need to play the full thing in a couple weeks to be sure of that. So be sure to stay tuned to GameSpot for our review when the game launches next month. I'll see you next time.
Okay, Jake. JD. Well, so far, I'm not gonna lie. That looked kind of good. That looked kind of good. I like what he said so far. If it feels this good, if it feels like a Sekiro type of game, it's already gonna be good. It feels like I said before, like it has a mix of a lot of good games. So if they do it well, and I wouldn't be mad because Game Freak would be one of the companies. Again, it's been here for a long time. So I'm not saying that this isn't a test. We haven't gotten a Game Freak game that wasn't Pokemon, but I feel like from what it sounds like, it's at least going to be in the 80s on Metacritic or in a lot of these other reviews. GameSpot may even have it even higher than some of these other ones. So we're going to see. But, I'm going to try and, I might make like 1 or 2 vids on it after it comes out. You know what I mean? But I love y'all. Y'all let me know if y'all are excited for this game down in the comments. It hasn't been talked about much, but I'm here for it. I just recently looked at one of my old videos, Young Yanko from like 3 years ago, where we talking about Project Perceiver. So I'm waiting to see what they're gonna give us with that, because we already got Phantom Blade Zero coming out. Like, there's a lot of games coming out, especially in September. But I'm gonna be reacting to some more trailers, some more breakdowns. But if y'all want to see the next vid, I'm gonna probably be talking about this one right here. So it's gonna be a little bit longer, but it's gonna be, it's gonna be kind of lit. But I'm gonna catch y'all on the next vid. All right, peace.